The data wins again. Monday nailed it exactly as we called it on the live session. The bearish tag and turns fired, the premium pop is delivered, and everyone got a fallback. Big question for us today is, are we going to follow through on the bear moves, or does it just fade away? Three quick things that we're going to look at today. SPX bear tag and turn is fired, as we've called it. The Bollinger Bands are compressing. Crude oil, is this the buy the dip opportunity, or is it going to be the bear swing is now on? Bitcoin is also developing its lower high that we looked at yesterday, so let's look at where the target could be as well. So the overnight tape is in the pre-market futures on the 4 stock indexes on the left here. Not really seeing anything exciting. It's a little bit mixed, a little bit bullish on the Dow, a little bit bearish on the S&P, kind of neutral on the Russell. The only one that's kind of given us a little tell is NASDAQ. That's probably because of the AI bubble. The air's kind of coming out of that balloon or bubble, should we say. It is coming out of it a little bit, so we're just seeing that unwind. We also see that the VIX remains elevated, even despite the pre-market neutral. So I would imagine that we're going to see the markets continue to move lower over on, again, the S&P. Gold, again, I've not really got a chart for this for the moment, other than what's on the snap view here. It is grinding sideways in its range. I'm pretty much looking for a breakout of this. Again, with the benefit of hindsight, I should really have done what I normally do with ranges and trade the range until the breakout. But we could always say that with the benefit of hindsight. Anyway, let's go and look at the details. So the S&P, we had that gap higher, and one of the things that we looked at in our live calls was the combination of the VIX. Again, we saw the gap high. The VIX did drop initially lower, but it just held that gap lower and didn't continue to move lower, whereas the other indexes gapped and then moved higher. We didn't really see that, again, transpire on the VIX. The other thing that I was looking at was we had that narrow range bar on the futures. That was an inside bar. And one of the things that we regularly see, and we can just see it actually last week, where those narrow ranging bars, and inside bars specifically, if I just go back to the futures, you can see the inside bars a little bit more clearly. But when those inside days, inside bars, again, it's the same thing with any type of time frame, whether it's 5-minute chart, daily chart, 30-minute chart, whatever. Typically, my first thought is that when the highs are breached, that's usually a false direction. This actually comes from my currency trading days. I spent the first 12 years of my trading career trading currencies. And we used to see this very regularly. We'd see a 4-hour inside bar. The high would be breached, and it would be essentially a false break or a false move, because a lot of people treat the inside days like it's a breakout opportunity. And this is just a liquidity opportunity or liquidity grab for the institutional traders. So the market's being pushed higher on what essentially was no news over the weekend. So are we going to see any follow through? Probably not. Fundamentally, nothing's changed. So we gap high, we trade lower. Again, the system took care of everything. We've got our usual tag and turn setup and a very nice fast profit as we move lower. And we're just back into that sideways range. So we could possibly grind lower here. And again, if we do manage to get through Thursday's low, I think if we look at the daily chart, we'll go from where we are now. I don't see any reason not to expect a push down to 7,300 by the end of the week if that breakout move happens. We saw the similar thing on Russell again with the inside bar, gap higher, trade lower, and again we've got the straight up to the upper Bollinger Band, bearish pulse bar, system flags up again, another high quality trade. The V pattern's confirmed on both SPX and the Russell, and again just waiting for price to push lower again because we're selling premium. If we see price continue to grind sideways in this previously established level and we don't get the break lower, it's not a big deal. We don't need a directional move to profit by selling premium. Crude oil is doing what crude oil does. Again, we're seeing price, again, the VWAPs are being reclaimed. So this is the last bastion from the VWAPs point of view. This is all the way down from the recent lows, just above $65, just on the left side of the chart there. It's just off the edge. So we've got this location here, and again, this zone between $80 and $81. That's pretty much where the breakout and this consolidation and the trending breakout move started. And I'm just looking back, we looked at this yesterday, back on the 11th of, April? February. And back in April, again, we got multiple touch points just here at that 82 low. That's what that black line is there. Again, just marked off more of a zone just to catch that extreme low that we can see a little bit more clearly on the daily charts. So we've got this zone where, okay, well, if it's going to turn, it's going to turn from here, basically. We saw previous buys of the breakout move ultimately happen. Are we going to see price just push a little bit higher? Don't think we're going to get in excess of $100 again anytime soon. Again, something fundamentally needs to change. But this is where we're going to be assessing, or I'm going to be assessing rather, is this the turn for the bull move? Is this the final buy the dip opportunity? Or do we have to reevaluate for the push lower and basically come back to, that $65, $70 zone and just retest those lows for the bear move? So that's the decision I need to make when I've got a little bit more new information. Bitcoin has, again, it's done exactly what we thought. Price was just rallying. We created that V-shaped pattern on the daily charts. That's now come to completion. The overnight move on Bitcoin actually took out the 63,500 target level that we have. That target being reached is now the breakout of this rising channel. And that gives me a new target of $60,000. And basically, if you look at the daily charts, from the range highs to the range lows, one of our 6 money-making patterns. Lastly, but by no means least, what did we do yesterday? Again, we traded live. Again, I was trading live in several group calls yesterday. Ultimately, we had the swing trades that have just been through. On the day trade, the premium poppers, we actually had a new setup that we were looking at called the Batman. I didn't name this. Essentially, it's 2 out-the-money butterflies that just gives you a little bit of a head start on the day. So the low-cost lottery tickets, essentially. But if you do them in a smart way and set them up in the right way, which is what we looked at on the live call, then you've got a higher expectation that you can kind of nail the sweet spot. And ultimately, I nearly got the sweet spot, as did all of our student members. Anyway, we've got the initial breakout move. Again, we've got the software highlighting the high quality, giving us a scoring. So we've got the breakout opportunity, gives me the first trade opportunity. We had the Batman, which we set up right at the opening bell, and then the next trade and the next trade. So we had multiple trades through the day, $195 locked in, with a potential of 520 on the bullseye, and we just scored a near miss. We got a little bit of extra profit, but not much more, but we almost landed that bullseye, as you can see here. So here's yesterday's SPX. You can see the closing price for yesterday, and this is pretty much where we landed, but we ended up with almost like a dinosaur back. I don't know what we would call this here. We've got multiple Batman type or profit tents or profit pyramids. I did have that fourth trade, didn't quite land the profit lock-ins. That just kind of interfered with the kind of the best worst case or the worst best case scenario that was going to be $20 if we just landed in that little empty zone there, mainly because I just missed out on locking the profit in on that last trade. But again, we almost landed in that profit tent, and I got what I wanted from the day anyway. It was just a case of, how much money and can we get any bonus profits for setups for the day. And again, all these trades were covered live in our group calls, which are inside the members area for the members. Or on the student viewpoints, again, everyone's got a full bag, everyone got paid. The profit targets that everyone got was between 50 and 75% return on capital, or of max profit rather, and it was crystal clear setups all day. There was no ambiguity. We had to set up the breakout, the target, the set up, the breakout, the target, set up, the breakout, the target. Again, for me personally, I got a little bit over my skis. I placed very greedily a fourth trade. It didn't quite get there for me, but nonetheless, still a profitable day. And again, the students are reporting the wins. Again, Don, Mary, James, Bill, Richard, Chris, Zach, Eddie, all posting in the wins channel. So again, well done everyone, awesome work team. Everyone's got a full bag, and let's see if we can repeat that again today as we come into the market open. So if you want to learn more and get access to the software and the tools mentioned here today, and look at collecting morning income and weekly income that I regularly talk about, just check out the links in the description or go straight to antivestor.com. So So that's it. That's all for me today. Happy trading. Again, as always, remember, less brain equals more gain. I am not smarter than the system. The data dictates what I'm doing, and I'm doing my damnedest to follow the setups. And as you can see, we're profiting along the way. And I will see you on the next installment. Toodaloo. Bye for now. Have a great day's trading.